the love of my life, and I ain't excited tonight to give you.
Welcome back. You're still watching Breakfast in Bed. Like I said, we have a guest in the house and we're talking about promoting Nigerian culture. I'll be showing up our guest. But first of all, we're still going to talk about the Salah celebration and all. But yeah, my guest is here, Haruna Onitire. Am I right? Did I pronounce it well?
Yeah, you did. You did. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you. I know you're Muslim, right?
Yeah, sure.
So you've been celebrating Salah all through?
Yes.
Okay, so did your ram behave?
Yes, it behaved.
It behaved. Yeah. So what's the essence of, how would you describe the essence of Eid, of Salah? What's the essence of it? What's the significance of it?
So the significance of Eid is the sacrifice that was made a long time ago. And if you see what is being done all over the world with Muslims, Eid is very significant. And for us as Nigerians, I think it's more significant to the different parts of the country. Like in the north, the way they celebrate their Salah is kind of different. The way we celebrate our Salah is kind of different when it comes to the culture, attaching it to the religion itself.
Oh, okay.
So like we would have like yesterday, let me just give you an example of what happened yesterday. So from the Eid ground, you know, people would go to, back in the days before now, people would go to different houses, you know, get food. Like you will go from your own house to another person's house to get, you have some rams that are slaughtered in your house, and then you go to another person's house to eat as well, and then you keep moving from house to house like that. But I think that's fading out now. But like yesterday we had a live band at our place, because I'm from Onitire, and in front of our family compound, which is a big family. So we had like live band, we had DJ, we had people slaughtering rams, there was a lot of, you know, drinks. So it's like a full Owambe in its essence, you understand? But still celebrating that religious activity. So we put in a lot. Like, a lot of people actually come into Nigeria for Salah, but I think that more people come in for Salah than they come in for Christmas. I'll tell you that.
Oh, really?
But yes.
Wow.
Because people come in December to just celebrate December.
Yeah, to make it dirty.
Yeah, to make it dirty. But for Salah, people come in just because of the ram. Yes. The most important thing in Salah is the ram, not the cow.
Okay, the ram.
Okay.
Yes, the ram is
the ram, because the ram is more juicy, the texture.
Now you're making me hungry.
No,
now you're making me hungry.
No, okay. I promise to send you some.
I got one. I got
Mine is on its way.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
But that's great. That's great. I like that. But I'm glad you enjoyed, and people around you enjoyed, which is the most important about Eid. Now let's come to the main topic of today, which is promoting Nigerian culture. Before we went on a break, I talked about people not proud of their language, of their cultural heritage. And we have much of that in Nigeria, especially in this Gen Z sector, where they feel that when I speak my native language, I'm being razz, I'm being this. But I think many people forget that you can actually speak your native language and still feel so chic and feel like a baddie. But what's your perception about the way younger people have accepted their culture and their heritage?
So I think one thing we're doing that's a mistake, and it will affect the future, is that we are erasing our culture and embracing foreign ideals. And I think that before now, you know, people abroad do not want their children to speak Nigerian native languages because they feel, like you said, Raz. But I think one of the strongest power that we have is our culture, is our heritage, is our accent. Like, I've lived in the States, and up till now, I cannot have their accent. Yeah, and it's my golden power, because if I'm in a room, in any meeting, anywhere, and I speak, you know that, okay, this guy is Nigerian. You understand?
Okay.
And the Nigerian identity, like on Fridays, I work in a corporate office. On Friday, I go to the office like this. Everybody sees me, even Nigerians. They're like, oh, you are bold to dress up like this to come to work. But I'm like, that is my identity.
So you're just like this on Fridays in the United States?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And everybody within the office knows me by wearing this African attire every Friday, because I go to the mosque on Friday.
Okay. So this, I'm here thinking, because the perception the foreigners have about Nigeria,
Yes.
you know, sometimes they think we're fraudsters, they think we're into Yahoo. So where does that confidence come? Where does it come for you? Where you're like, well, I'm Nigerian, think
you're
whatever you
walking
want to think. Where
confidently.
does it come? Where does it come?
Because as much as foreign people think that we are fraudsters,
Yeah.
if you look at on the fraudsters map, Nigeria is like number 5. We're not number 1.
Okay.
There are other countries that are way out there. The only reason why everybody talks about Nigeria is because Nigerians, we blow everything out of proportion. You understand?
extra.
We are extra. We are the ones showing up on social media and doing all that stuff. But so we need to change the narrative. We need to correct the narrative. So as much as many of us, you understand, that are out there, that are out here as well, that can showcase our culture and show that Nigerians are better in other ways. Nigerians are thriving in other ways. You understand? It will give a different facelift to our country. Like, for example, I know that in Nigeria, some people don't even want their kids to speak native languages.
Yes.
And I am perplexed. I am shocked that, because if you look at the history of the African Americans who were taken out of African countries as slaves, they don't have a culture. They don't have an identity. Because culture is the soul of our identity. It's in our food, it's in our music, it's in our dressing, it's in our accent. But they don't have that. And they are paying thousands of dollars to trace their origin, to trace where they are from. You can imagine that. So if, like, I can tell you that there are some people in Lagos that live in Lagos that they are not originally from Lagos, but they don't know where they are from. because maybe 2 generations have decided not to go back home and show their kids that this is where you are from. So, and that will continue to progress. And then before you know, we are erasing a lot of stuff about where we are from, what is our culture. You know, there are some families that before Christianity, they had different things that they do. Before Islam, they had different things that they do. But because we have accepted religion, we believe that everything about our culture is damned.
It's damned, yes.
So speaking of that, while growing up, you said some parents don't want their kids to even speak. Speaking of that, while growing up, my mom never wanted I and my siblings to speak Yoruba at all.
Why?
Because they feel our English is not strong yet. Our English is not grounded yet. So they avoided us from speaking Yoruba. Trust me, I didn't know how to speak Yoruba until I graduated from university.
Wow.
Because even when I got to school, I entered 100 level and my friend started speaking Yoruba. One is from Ibadan, the other one is from Oshun, the other one is from Ilorin. I went out and I started crying like, Mommy, I want to go back home. Because why? I started speaking Yoruba, I don't understand. So trust me, now I will like every young Gen Z's like to know how to speak our mother tongue, because it's like a paving way for us. It is like a paving way. So that's just what I will just advise. Trust me.
But then, picking from what she said, when parents, they don't want their children to speak their native language when they're very young, because they feel, I understand that English is our lingua franca, and I always say that for me. So I now want you to dispel me or whether say I'm right or wrong. But for me, I always believe you should be able to speak English very well, because that's the only language an Igbo man will speak to me that I will understand. And I think many parents come from that perception, like, I want you to speak English properly, and then maybe you can learn the native language later. Which do you think should come first in learning?
So basically, basically what I've come to understand is that, you see, kids, they're a very powerful human. You and I, in this age, we are less powerful than them, in the sense that kids can learn 4 languages at the same time.
Really?
And process them properly.
Yes.
But don't you think the accents will affect? Because
No.
when I was younger and I was speaking Yoruba and they told me to speak Yoruba, the English accent will jump in the Yoruba.
No.
It still jumps into it up to today.
No. Because in the States, for example, there are kids that are Nigerian. They speak Yoruba to them at home, they speak English at school, and they're learning Chinese as well.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, I know that. Yes.
So it is what you put in, the efforts you put in. Like, I try to put in efforts with my kids. You know, they wake up in the morning, they dobale, they prostrate, eka arosa. You understand? I try to do that, and I try to bring them back here. They love Nigeria so much. My kids love Nigeria so much because they see it as, okay, for example, my kids, one of my first son was in school, and his teacher was talking about Nigeria. And then she was giving some assumption, because she has never been here.
Okay.
She was giving an assumption that her sister gave her that, people don't stop at crosswalks and all that. My son is 5 years old. He said, no, that's not the Nigeria that I know. And she was like, oh, wow, you've been to Nigeria? She said, yes, I've been to Nigeria twice. Nigeria is beautiful. There's a lot of good food. And he started saying a lot of things. There's good music. And, you know, the teacher was amazed, like, if he didn't come back here, she can teach him that that's Nigeria.
And it's actually going to produce his mindset.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I think that happens.
It.
But I'm still going to go back to that question. Which should come first? Should I teach my child my native language or English?
So the thing is, your kids spend more time in school than they spend with you at home.
Okay.
So in school, they will teach them English.
Okay.
At home, they should learn your lingua franca, the native language. That's what you should communicate with them with. Because when they are in school, all they learn for most of their time, 6, 8 hours, is English.
Okay, I like
so
that.
So I feel the mother tongue should come first.
Yeah, because English, you will learn English anyway.
First, yes. Yeah, the mother tongue should
I like
come
that.
first.
So, but yeah, I'm also here thinking, looking at the perspective of the children. You know, they said these days they talk about mental health. Mental health is an excuse for everything. I'm not saying it's not valid.
It is valid.
It's an excuse for everything.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm still thinking that, okay, if the child is used to the native language at home, I know the child learns English in school, but when the child starts speaking with his friends or classmates and start coming with the native language, and you know they're having this. What are you speaking?
But the thing is,
because to be honest, I'm using myself as an example. When I was younger, I have this Yoruba. Yoruba aunties will come, they'll speak. So anytime I go out with one of my very good friends and I'm trying to speak English, I would say, Kani, we should do. And he corrected me one and said, what is Kani? It is let's say. And I was embarrassed. And it still hurts me up to today. So I feel like, don't you think the native language could interfere sometimes, and then they have this backlash from their friends and then they feel withdrawn and intimidated? How do you think the children can manage such situations?
So in such situations now, you are exposed too much.
Oh, okay.
That's why. You are exposed too much. Maybe everybody around you was speaking that particular phrase, kani. And you were exposed to it so much. So let me give an example of what will happen. A kid that is living in a community where they basically speak Yoruba, totally speak Yoruba, and goes to school with other kids that they are learning English. That kid will not really thrive in English because everybody within that community is a Yoruba speaking, like dialect, like the locals speak Yoruba all through, you understand?
Okay.
So that kid will now, in that particular instance, maybe you will speak more English with that child. So it has to be geographically, now we have to look at it geographically in that instance. Okay. So with that kind of a child, maybe at home you speak more English because in school that they get a little bit of teaching, they speak English, but when they are with other people around them, they go back to the local dialect.
So this is like different strokes for different folks.
So if you're in Delta now, you understand, they speak Pidgin English.
Yes. They speak
you understand?
English.
When they're in school, they speak English. So you can see if they come out here, when they speak Pidgin English, you'll be like, their Pidgin English is even deeper than the one in Lagos. You understand? You get, and instantly you would definitely identify them. You understand? Because in the community, that is what is that's the dominant language. So in that kind of area now, you would speak more English to your child because you know that the forces outside of that environment are the major language in that particular area is the Pidgin English. So that would influence them. So now you have to influence from inside.
There must be a balance.
So sorry, I feel this our mother tongue has a very I don't want to say has a bad effect on us because while growing up and during my NYSA, I'm speaking of experience, I learned so many things. That's this our vowel sounds. I was speaking to a colleague of mine. I was like, now I can even pronounce it well. Exactly. I was like, how are you? And she was like, what is how are you? It is how are you? So I had to I felt stupid. I felt embarrassed. Like, okay, I just had to learn it. Now I'm so used to it. I can't say how are you? It is how are you? I can't say. As in, I'm trying to go back to the me before.
I think it's
so now I'm very. So I would say that our mother language has a very.
I think it's a Yoruba thing.
It's a Yoruba thing.
The Igbos,
even
the Igbos.
I think Igbos are with R or something.
Yes, so there's an R factor, there's an H factor.
There's a way they try to speak English, and it affects their.
We are communicating.
English is not even our mother.
It's not that. No, English is just a communication language. It's not our official.
But when we are trying to communicate with the foreigners, there's no how we're going to communicate to them.
But the thing is, it's both ways. When you communicate with a foreigner, they don't understand you, you don't understand them.
Yes. Sometimes it's always a struggle.
When they speak, sometimes you don't understand them.
It's always a struggle.
When you speak, they're like, what are you saying? You understand? So it's both ways because, as much as both of you are speaking the same English, you understand? Your accent, they will tell you have an accent.
Yes.
They are rude like that.
And sometimes you have to tell them, sometimes you have to tell them they should say it slowly for you to grab it. Yeah, it happens. Now, so let's come about promoting culture. I know you're an advocate of promoting culture.
Yes.
So what ways have you been able to promote culture in Nigeria? What ways have you been able to, instill this indigenous values in Nigeria?
So basically, one of the things that I am doing now is going back to our roots. Because I believe that if we don't take time, in another 2 decades, we will not even know a lot of things about our history anymore.
Oh, definitely.
Because we think that Western ideals are better than our culture, raw ideals, where we come from. But I feel like those are the things that make us who we are. That is our identity, so to say. It's our passport to the future. Because if we're going to do a disservice to the future generations if we don't go back to promoting our culture. Now, I want to learn a lot of stuff. As much stuff that I can learn now, I want to learn and then pass it on to the next generation. I want to learn more about the dances that we do. There's a place in Benin Republic, Cotonou. Even people who are abroad, they have a particular dance called Ajagba.
Oh, okay.
Even the people abroad know how to do that dance. But I can't dance bata. I don't know how many Nigerians can dance. How many Yoruba people can dance bata?
Well, I can, but not perfectly.
You see, you can.
But I can't. I don't even know how to move my legs with that.
So that's what I'm saying. So we need to start promoting these. Government needs to start, creating programs, you understand, for people to learn about the culture. Maybe a cultural festival, not just a cultural festival that we bring Afrobeats up, it is alone. Cultural festival that will bring indigenous people that are doing things that promote our culture. You understand?
Yes.
We go out with these things, we see them. Some of these things are not totally demonic. You understand? But because we are in a new phase of religion.
Sorry, I'm going to hold you there. They're not totally demonic. They're demonic in a way, but they're not totally demonic.
No, because we pronounce everything as demonic. You understand?
Yeah.
We pronounce everything that comes to do with our culture. Like you wearing a bead. People can think.
Oh, yes. There's a notion. People are already thinking about something very true.
The moment you wear a bead on your hands or you wear beads around, they say, it's one, where is this one from? Where is this from? Where is it from? You understand? That's what I'm saying, demonic. So some of these are just symbols of our ancestral land, of where we come from. But our people, we totally demonize everything that has to do with culture.
Culture, yes.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying. So now this is me thinking, if you're going to bring this culture, this training, this trying to change the mindset of young people, it's not just easy to say, come over, let's learn about our culture. What ways
so like
can
I said,
we put in place?
So the things that we can do is, because everybody loves Afrobeat, first of all.
Okay.
So you create a festival, you bring Afrobeat artists as headliners, people will come.
Yeah.
Okay.
You understand? And then we promote our culture there. Bit by bit, we start sinking in. Like in the US, we have, I'm part of an organization where we this called Diaspora International Organization.
Okay.
We've done 2 segments of African Food and Music Festival, where people come, and we also promote local vendors that don't have like a regular office place for business. They make African food, but nobody knows them within the community. So we bring them there. Come and eat food from Ghana, from Nigeria, from different parts of Nigeria, from the east, from the south. People are cooking all these things in the diaspora, and people are eating. And we are now having like a diaspora club for kids, where kids can learn how to speak Yoruba. This year's edition, we are trying to focus on a small section where you can go in and learn a little bit about it, and the history of a particular region in Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
So we can do that here also, you understand? You go into a booth, and all you see in that booth is the history of maybe Edo. These are what Edo people are for. These are what this do. This is what this. This is what this. A lot of people don't even know about the artifacts in Benin. A lot of people don't even know that civilization started in Benin before colonial masters came. Nigeria is one of the there are some Nigerian kingdoms that are one of the civilized nations. Like, we had everything in order before the colonial masters came. So we need to learn about all these things. People don't even visit the old buildings of Lagos. Those things are not showing us that this is the root. These are the things that have passed.
So that's where the government is meant to come in there.
So I think we have tourism, like we have tourism where we have fellas.
I'll tell you that a lot of international observers, international people from foreigners actually go to the Naked Art Gallery, the Fela African Shrine, more than the people that live.
Oh, that's true. Yes, when they come to Nigeria, yes, that's true.
They want to go there.
But we don't. It's a Nigerian thing. We don't really cherish our things. We don't. It's for instance, just tell your friend, let's go to Fela, let's go to Naked Gallery. Person is looking at you like, what happened to you? Right? What are we going to do?
So
there?
Because we have not provided value to learning our culture.
You talked about our culture being, we tend to embrace the Western culture because we feel the Western culture is better. Now, I want you to correct me and I want you to tell me if I'm right or wrong, but this is my own perspective, my perception about the Nigerian. I feel we're too loud. I feel the Nigerian culture is too loud. And, some of us just want to be so prim and proper. And we just want to be, just put in this, and then we're he
said
you're getting this loudness and like, what?
He said it earlier on that we Nigerians, we are too extra.
So I think that might pull some people back sometimes.
But let me tell you something. I'm not going to say I'm correcting you, but
okay.
I want to say something. In being loud, maybe we are chasing away depression.
Okay. Another point. Because I think that is what it is. I like that. Yeah.
In being loud, maybe we are eradicating mental.
Going through something.
You understand? So, because people tend to blow off steam different ways. Abroad, people don't have any opportunity to blow off steam.
I like that angle because I think that because when it happened when our parents were younger, there was nothing like mental health.
No.
And then that shouting was really dominant.
They just shout, somebody just shouts at you and then it's over.
It's over.
He just expresses it, boom. But now people keep it in.
Oh, did you know you affected my mental health by shouting? That's what happens these days.
No.
Okay, so we need to wrap up, but then what's your final word about promoting culture for people? What do you think should be done in Nigeria? What ways are you promoting in Nigeria? Your final words.
So my final words is that I'm promoting the culture by going back to, I know that I won't say the Gen Zs are lost case in this case, but I would say that, the younger generation now, those are the focus of my team and I, to impact them in ways that we can reshape the future because we need to change the narrative. Everything about like you said, you see, the foreigners see us as fraudsters and all, because people who have been successful in the true and actual right path are not coming out, are not being seen. So, and the influence that is being portrayed onto the next generation is that these are the people that are making it, you understand? You go on social media and you see somebody post, you don't know where the person has made what the source of wealth is, and everybody's saying God when. You understand? I'm not a social media commentator, I don't comment on social media, but I just look through. And then you people who are actually making strides are not out there putting whatever they have done out there. But I think that in a way, we can go back, even if it's not loud, in a small, silent way, you understand, impact this next generation. Tell them that culture is important. Tell them that, because I remember the days where if you do something wrong outside of your neighborhood and you see somebody that lives in your neighborhood, you run.
That doesn't happen anymore.
No, it doesn't happen anymore.
It happened when I was very young.
And
so yes.
because when we were growing up, when I was growing up, the values that I was being told is that the community raised the child. The child is not raised by the family alone.
Yes,
the community raised the child. But in these days, the community doesn't raise the child anymore.
No, at all.
So we have to go back to that root, because some of us who have been productive, who are making strides, who believe that we are better than where we are right now, were raised by the community. So I believe in community engagement and community learning. So we want to go back to portray that to the younger generation, and I believe the government can also help us in doing that. So I believe that if we do that, the narrative will change and there will be a paradigm shift, and we'll be able to assess our future in a better way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And first, I really want to appreciate whatever you're doing to promote Nigerian culture, which is very important in Nigeria and also out of Nigeria. That's great stuff, and we really, really appreciate that. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
So we've been speaking with Haruna Onitire, and it's been talking about promoting Nigerian culture, which is very important. Let your children know their source. Let them know where they come from. Let them speak their indigenous language. It is very important. It doesn't define them as ras. It doesn't define them as loud. It's just very important for them to speak their indigenous language so they know where they come from. Elizabeth, it's time to leave. Time to go.
Yeah, so really enjoyed myself. So happy to see you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So that's the much we can take on Breakfast in Bed. Many thanks for watching. We'll be back again next week. Enjoy your Salah celebration, and if possible, send meat to me. Bye.
The morning fantastic. See you with flam, put it on your tongue, then flip it up like gymnastics. Anything you want, you can have it. Sausage, y'all are the planting. Can make love on the MTV.